Hello, everyone. It's William here at Allegory Gallery. How are you all doing? Whew, my collar's all discombobulated. Um, Hi. It's been interesting here the last few moments. Our streaming software didn't want to join the internet, so um, I think we're streaming. It looks like we're streaming on my side. I still don't see comments on here. Seems like that's still something that's going on. Still a glitch in their system. I see Susie has joined us. If you're out there, please say hi. I am watching. When I turn my head this way, I'm looking at comments because I can't see them here anymore. Not until about 50 minutes into this video, and then they'll pop up. That's generally what happens. So if you're out there, please say hi. We look forward to hearing from you. So today was a busy day. We had some things to take care of this morning, and I was at the cottage. Today was the first day of snow. Not the first day of snow, the first day of snow staying on the ground here in Ligonier, where we live. And I did not know that was going to happen. Normally, I rely on all of our friends out there to give me the weather forecast. um, I have not been on social media much lately. We've been so busy since we got back from our trip. And I've really not been on social media other than to drop posts for the business mostly. I drop a few for myself here and there, but it's kind of like drop and run. With social media, if we don't particularly make a point of staying involved in it, even if it is just dropping things and kind of running every once in a while. We watch our viewership go way down. So I try to do that every day. I try to post a little bit of something or at least schedule a live or do something like that. But it is not always in a way that I can actually spend time on social media much. And so a few people were saying that a lot of people were talking about this snow coming. I had no idea. Um, I know a lot of people got a lot of snow. It seems like we got about 4 inches, 4 to 5 inches, I'd say. As Susie says, wet, heavy snow. It is. I was out shoveling earlier today, and it is very wet and very heavy. It is probably perfect snowball or snowman making, snow person making snow. I took the cats out. Gilbert noped right out of that. But Barnaby and the girls went out today. And I think it's really the girls' first time in like major snow. Um, I think. I don't think last winter they really went out very much. Um, I'm trying to remember if we ever did, but I think this is kind of their first time in major snow, and they weren't sure what to think about it. Tallulah went bounding through the snow at one point, which was super cute. She was hopping like this, and she's the long hair, big fluffy tail, and to watch her do that, it was pretty cute. But Gertie and Idabel, they were not having it. Um, they kind of put their feet in and kept like it was novel because they put their foot in and it would crack through and they'd sink and then they'd pull their foot out or hand out. And they kept doing that, but they mostly stayed on the sidewalks I had already cleared. We've got a few more people jumping in. Thanks so much for hanging out. We got Marianne here. Hello, Marianne. Norma's here. Sorry, my eyes are a little dried out today. I got the pellet stove started up at the cottage, and I was working on that and cleaning it out, and I put a mask on, but my eyes weren't covered. I think I got some dust or something. It's also the dry heat. So I'm like kind of squinting to see these comments across the room a little bit. So Norma's here. Marianne is here. Susan is here. Hello, Susan. Kimberly is here. How's your headache, Kimberly? I hope it's feeling better today. Um, let's see here. Everybody's saying hi to everybody else. Norma says we got less snow than expected here. I don't know even what we were expecting here. Is it, Susie, is it more or is it less? What were they saying? My mom normally gets a lot more snow than us. Um, where she is, she usually gets like double the amount of snow sometimes, but she only got about the same as us. So um, I think a lot of areas around here got around 4 inches of snow. Let's see. Kimberly says, we got like 4 inches unexpectedly yesterday. And I tell you, my son crashed my car yesterday in the surprise snow. No, you did not. Which I know you had a migraine, so your mind probably was not on that and probably weren't ready to talk about that. So I hope he is okay. I'm guessing that he's okay since you were on the live yesterday and not anywhere else. So hopefully all is okay. Hopefully the car can be repaired. Um, let's see. It says, yeah, he was going super slow and hit a patch of snow ice when turning and slid into another car. That's terrible when you have to when you slide into another car. Like I have one time I was driving in college and I had a Toyota MR2. And if you know what an MR2 used to look like in the 80s, it was an 80s car. I was not driving in the 80s. I was not old enough in the 80s to be driving in the 80s, but it was an 80s car. I think an 88 or 89, 87, something like that. So it was a little boxy thing. And MR2 stood for a mid-engine, rear wheel drive, two-seater car. So the engine was behind you. And um, it was a two-seater and it was a rear wheel drive. So in the winter, not great. I mean, we put winter studded tires on it most of the time, so it actually went pretty well. But a rear wheel drive car in the winter is not ideal, unless you really want to do fun things with it, and you're good at doing those fun things with it. Then it can be okay. But I was coming one direction, and I hit a patch of ice doing a turn. I was kind of coming up and I was going to turn up into kind of up onto a hill and come kind of back around the way I was. And I ended up coming up, turning, and the whole car spun. And I ended up over in the other lane, sitting at a stop sign, going going the opposite direction. Luckily, I didn't hit anything, and there were no other cars there. I think it was very early in the morning. I was coming back from somewhere, and it was very early. I was coming back before classes. It might have been coming from home over the weekend, but I was coming back, and luckily, it was very early. No one else was out until I'd spun around, and then there was a car that drove by and kind of just looked at me. I'm like, I didn't do that on purpose, but I could not have done it better if I had done it on purpose. But hitting another car, no fun. So hopefully that all gets worked out. Um, let's see here. Someone else said something. Susan says we might get some winter precipitation on Friday, but my guess is that it will just be freezing rain or sleet. Snow is better. I'll take the snow over the freezing rain and sleet. Um, so he's okay. He is okay. That's good. Ice is awful, says Susan. It's true. Vicky says that's scary. Kimberly, I'm glad no one was hurt. Hello all. Hello, Vicky. Thanks for joining. Ice is the worst. Visibility was very low. He probably should have asked me or his dad to drive him to school. He is 17, somewhat new driver, first snowstorm. Yeah. Um, at least had someone else in the car, maybe, right? Um, but you got to learn sometime. I grew up in this area and with facing winter storms and snow and you know, I actually delayed getting my license until I had to go off to college. When I was a young kid, don't tell anyone this, but we drove the cars around back roads and dirt roads when I was much younger. Um, and so we had experience driving in a way. But for some reason, when it came time to do those tests and take the tests and the road tests, and I just was not wanting to drive. And I had friends who drove, so anytime we'd go somewhere, my friends would just drive, and I'd pay gas money, and it was easy. Um, But uh, yeah, it's you have to learn at some point, and um, ice is just something, and it could happen to anybody. So just I mean, being younger and less experienced of a driver, of course, that's going to make a difference, right? Sometimes, sometimes ice is going to get you if ice is going to get you. And it still surprises me every once in a while. So when it's a really bad winter day, that's when we take the our Appa, our Suzuki. It's all-wheel drive, and that's how I went up to the cottage today. Anyway, we don't have the van back anyway. It's still at the garage. So we have Appa anyway, but that's what we use, and it does get us in and out of the cottage, which the van cannot do in the snow and ice very well. Um, let's see here. Da, da, da. Michelle's here. Hello, Michelle. Marianne, new drivers often have accidents, especially in winter conditions. There are also just more accidents incur in the first snowfall. Oh, yeah. No matter who you are, no matter where you live, for some reason, the first few snows or icing or rain, I don't know, people just forget how to drive in the snow, forget how to drive in the winter. Um, and it takes a little while, it seems like, for people to remember how to do that. That's what I've always found. People sometimes drive like maniacs in terrible conditions. Like, I know I'm not always the most cautious driver, I guess, but I am, more so at the start of winter. Like, I try to not be crazy and then get used to the roads, get used to the conditions, because, you know, uh, even with rain, what people don't think about sometimes is, when you're on a highway and it starts to rain, the very first part of that rain is the water from the rain hitting the pavement and mixing with all of the possible oil, or gasoline, or whatever fluids could be coming out of cars. And that can make for very slick road conditions. Um, One of the reasons they tell you not to use cruise control a lot of times when it starts to rain, because the rain can create very slick roads, especially until like there's enough rain that it washes the roads clean. So at the very start of a rainstorm on a highway, it can be very dangerous. And I speak from experience because it did happen to me once where it started to rain and I was going, probably faster than I should have been. And the tires weren't grabbing the road so well, because I always thought that's not true. It's true. It happened to me. So it's a thing. Let's see. Vicky says we're expecting our first snowstorm in the Denver metro area overnight. Super late. That feels like it should be super late for this time of year, right? I feel like this snow, we've had a little bit of snow before this, but this feels like it's later, much later in the year than normal. At least the last few years. Usually by Halloween, a lot of times we have some snow starting to happen. Um, and we've had a little bit of snow, but nothing that's stayed on the ground. This is the first major snow here, December 2nd, which is wild. Um, Although sometimes in the past, I remember we haven't had even much snow through Christmas. So it can happen. Norma says, I had driver's ed in Pittsburgh in January, and the first thing I had to do was back out of the parking space on ice. I'm always glad I learned in the winter, as it has served me well over the years. Yeah, it's good, right? Um, let's see here. Anybody else? Marion says, I actually have my headlights on the auto setting to increase my visibility to other drivers. Um, I don't know what necessarily that means. Here, our auto is that they are on, and then at night they turn. Ours are always on, daytime running lamps, in other words, and then our auto settings is at night. I guess once it senses it's night, the tail lights come on. But um, Otherwise, our other car doesn't have that. It has daytime running lamps, and then we just turn the switch. But as soon as it starts getting anywhere near dark, I turn the switch. Um, let's see. Marion says it's been warm in the west this year. I feel like it's been a little warm here in the east too. I don't know. I know you, Marianne, have not been warm, but I feel like it's not been too terribly cold here, thankfully. Um, Vicky says cars are much safer now than when I was a new driver. I feel lucky. Cars are much safer now, right? Um, growing up, my family, we had some older cars, and my dad had the big, some of the big cars. And, you talk about those, they did not have crumple zones. When they hit something, the other thing was usually the thing that was damaged the most. But um, that also gave no safety zone, no like you hit and you hit, right? There was no crumpling to slow down the force that things in motion like to stay in motion. um, when you have a crumple zone, at least it slows down the motion a little bit. But those old cars, they were not forgiving, and it was kind of it was hard sometimes. It was hard. Michelle says it's starting to get cold here. What is cold though, Michelle? What really is cold? Is it really starting to get cold? Um, Marion says, but not cold for my latitude. Okay, well, that's good. Um, Michelle says, no, not even close. Right? So, how is everybody out there? Are you surviving the snow? Hopefully everybody's okay. Um, I was at the cottage, like I said, most of today. I was up there. I did some orders, which is kind of the normal thing, picking and packing orders, and um, got the pellet stove up and running. It's the first time we've turned it on. I really don't feel like I needed it today, but I was mainly um, checking to make sure that it was okay, um, that it was going to run, because we haven't turned it on yet this winter. And I didn't want the day we need it to be the day that we realize it's not starting up. So it did start up okay. Everything is fine, um, thankfully. And we are working on. Um, I moved some pellets up there. We just have the small car, so I'm moving little bags of pellets at a time. But it is, I guess, Thursday here. I think my mom or my aunt said Thursday it's supposed to get very cold. And it might get cold enough that our split system doesn't pull much heat anymore. Sometimes, depending on how cold it gets, it can't get heat. So that's when I got to really be up there and running the pellet stove a lot. So I wanted to make sure it was working for that. Let's see here. Michelle says 60s and 40s. That is pretty cold, actually, for there, right? 40s at night. 40s are chilly. 60s can be chilly during the day. I don't know what, my computer, the little button that I usually click to go to the weather is not there anymore. So I don't know what is actually happening. My menu bar, this poor computer, I think it's having some issues. Um, so the menu bar has a little weather widget, and it has not been working. So let me pull up the weather, because I think, yeah, we're at 28 right now. We had 33 as a high today, 27 as a low. Yes, Thursday is supposed to be 13 degrees to 29 degrees. So it's going to be very chilly. That's the coldest day. And it's all supposed to be raining. I guess snowing at that point. It's saying rain, but no, it's saying snow. It's saying snow. It's going to be like, that's not rain. 29 degrees is not going to give us any rain. It's a warm 29. Anne is here. Hello, Anne. Thanks for joining us. Um, it was rainy and cold here today, says Susan. Marianne says, but Michelle, that's not cold, right? It's cold for them. It's cold in LA, right? So it's starting to get cold here. For us, yes. The lowest we get is 50s and 30s, but we're not there yet. Yeah, 30 is our high today, 33. We've been down in the 20s a couple of nights recently, says Susan. Yeah, we are down mostly in the 20s every single night. We're going down into the teens here soon. Um, looks like next week, part of this week, 9 degrees on Friday is a low. That's still in that Thursday time, I bet, kind of overnight Thursday. Into Friday, 9 degrees and then up to 34. And then we get back into the 20s and 30s, 20s and 30s, and then teens and 20s. Fun. Then back up into 30s and 40s. As long as it's in the 30s and 40s, it's all right. And not much precipitation until next week. And we're going to get a little bit more. So that's good. Marion says it can rain at 29. I guess it could rain at 29. Generally, though, it's below freezing, so it's not going to be doing a whole lot of raining. Um, Depends on a lot of things, though, right? But that's my eyes. It's not showing full snow, because I think the wraparound from that is still the day before. It's weird how these, like, they do this 24, like the low is sometimes like very early, the morning before. But anyway, so yeah, that was today. I was up at the cottage, got things done, did some things. Haven't been up at the cottage too much because we've been working on shows. We have a show in Pittsburgh at the Handmade Arcade. Um, and that's this Friday and Saturday. It's so wild to think it's coming up this quickly, but it is. So we'll be at Handmade Arcade Friday and Saturday, late night Friday, and then we'll drive home and then we'll come back and be there all day Saturday. And it is a fairly quick show, but it is usually a very nice show and good show, and we're looking forward to it. Let's see here. And then, yeah, but I was just working around trying to, get some stuff done up there that we haven't been able to catch up on. Watering plants, which we bring our plants in and out every year. So watering plants and organizing a little bit, getting the pellet stove up and running and cleaned out, working on some packages and catching up with some things like that. Some of the orders that we had that came in just after we left. So yeah, it's been like that. Let's see. Susan says, I got really wet and cold this morning, did a craft show at a software company with the gallery my stuff is at. Did a craft show at a software company with the gallery my stuff is at. That's kind of interesting. Was it good? Did you have a good show? Surely you got really wet and cold. Surely it wasn't outside. The show was inside, right? Tell me the show was inside. um, but I hope you had a good show. I didn't know you were having that. We always try and ask when people are having shows so we can help publicize if we know you're having a show. I think we asked yesterday, but I don't think you mentioned it yesterday, unless I missed that comment. I don't know if I'm always seeing all the comments. Once they start to appear on screen here, I don't know that I'm not catching everything. Let's see. She is inside, but we had to get everything from the gallery to the company. It was for their employees during lunchtime. Those shows inside. Good. At least it was inside. But yeah, getting it there, not always easy. Sorry, I keep blinking, everyone. My eyes are very dried out for some reason. I'm gonna drink a little bit. I think it's because I started up the pellet stove today and I was there quite a bit. And it's always a much drier heat. So my eyes are like very dry. And yeah. So Sorry, I'm like very blinky today, trying to get moisture into my eyeballs. Um, and also it's not letting me read the comments very easily. Um, my eyes feel like I'm gonna be like my eyes feel like I just cut onions. They kind of have that pinchy. It's very strange. Um, Also, Andrew did have the heater up here. He had a meeting up here earlier today, and this room had the heater in here, and I think that also dried things out. I'm very dried out right now. The winter is getting to me. I don't know about all of you out there, but the first, like once the weather starts to get colder and it does get that dryness, my hands start to get chapped and my eyes dry out and my lips are very dry right now. And I'm just trying to keep myself hydrated as much as I can. Oh, good. The comments just popped up. Earlier than usual, 27 minutes instead of 50 minutes today. Student says, I did all right. Gallery mostly just got people interested in classes. That's good for them too. That's good for them too. Suzanne is here. Hello, Suzanne. I guess, yeah, Facebook comments aren't coming through because I don't see Suzanne. Suzanne is here. Says, just more rain here. Lucky you. Maybe. I don't know. I like the snow. I like the first snow. I'll say that. I like the first snow. I was kind of excited by the snow this morning. But I don't I won't be excited by the end of winter. I'll be ready for spring. That's usually how it goes. After all the rides to take pellets up and the shoveling of the sidewalks and the driveway and all of that. By that time, yeah. Marion says eye drops can help that. Yes, eye drops can, but so here's the thing. I know eye drops can help, but also eye drops can also stop your eyes from naturally producing, and it's kind of like chapstick, where they say that if you use too much chapstick, you get used to that, and then your body doesn't produce the moisture by itself. Um, so I also try not to use too much of that stuff. If it gets really bad, like this kind of surprised me because my eyes weren't like this until I sat down in front of the screen today, and then I'm like, what is going on? So I probably would have used drops before this. I'm not going to put them in now because then I'll be looking like I'm crying on screen. But I try not to use too much of that stuff because your body can get used to it. That's what I've been told anyway, by some medical people. Your body can get used to it and then it stops producing, as much moisture itself or tears or whatever. Brooke is here, says, hi, we got a fair bit of snow here. I just wish my street was plowed a bit more thoroughly. Ours, I should say, we don't generally, we're kind of night people. So we don't leave the house too early in the morning. I did hear news that today, very early in the morning, even though apparently most people knew this snow was coming, I didn't. But most people did. They were saying that some of the roads here in town were not plowed very well this morning, or ice or salted, I mean, to be ready for this snow. So I don't know about all that, but when I left today, the roads were amazingly clear. And of course, they always come through and plow our alleyway, which is great. I'm glad they do it, but they plow it like kind of into our driveways. So we always have this mound of snow, the entire lining of our driveway, um, which thankfully our all-wheel drive car can get over. But if we have the van, it makes it very difficult because it does not like to do that. Let's see here. Susan is here. Says, hello, AGB fam. And Kimberly, glad your son is safe. Hello, Susan. How are you doing? Anne says, my eye doctor said it's better to use a warm, wet cloth on your eyes regularly than drops. Of course, I use the drops, LOL. Yeah, I should probably do the warm, wet cloth thing. But like I said, this kind of just happened. I was not doing this blinky thing while I was getting ready for the live. It just happened as soon it's like as soon as I turn on the camera, Andrew says the same thing, like our nose starts running or something happens that's kind of embarrassing as soon as we turn on the camera. It's just the way it is. So, I'm kind of used to it by now. It's like something embarrassing is going to happen to me while I'm on camera with you all. So, thankfully we're all friends here and family, right? Um, Let's see here. Michelle says, I can't sell on Venice Beach anymore. They changed a bunch of roles. I'm going to keep reposting my jewelry I've made and plan on opening an online store next year. Nice. Sorry that happened, but maybe this is a good thing for you. You'll start your own online little business, which will be great. Um, and maybe it'll turn into a big business. Who knows? Um, Anne says, I'm sorry, Michelle. I hope you're very successful online. Yeah, hopefully you are. See, I'm posting on Instagram and Facebook more to turn up more business before I open. Need to have my shoulder better before anything. Yes, focus on your health, right? Focus on your health. That's very important. Um, I know it's hard though when things change like that. We've been through a lot of changes like that, and um, when things happen. So we wish you the best, of course. Yeah, so we've been talking about all different things. Oh, we had the tofurkey last night. We were talking about that yesterday. I've never had one. I don't know if Andrew's ever had one. But the tofurkey after Thanksgiving was on sale. And Andrew saw that it was on sale, and I've never had one. So he made a tofurkey for us last night. Um, and um, he made mashed potatoes. We had lots of stuffing, tofurkey, kind of glazed carrots and celery, and sweet potato, mashed sweet potatoes, and gravy. And it was delicious. So we did have kind of a um, delayed Thanksgiving meal, and we uh it was good. We had it for lunch today. And so I'm curious what you think of the tofurkey. My sister and I got one quite a few years ago. We thought it was horrible. It is um it is one of those things. I don't think it was horrible, and I really didn't mind it. It was the one thing like Andrew didn't make. I mean, he made it, but it was, it is what it is. It is one of those things that is it's flavored by smoking, right? So it's kind of one of those things. I don't think it was terrible. It reminded me of something, and I can't remember what it is. Um, but I enjoyed it. It was fine. Um, I don't know that I would buy it at full price. I don't think it added that, like Brooke says, when I was vegetarian, I just filled up on sides. That's kind of what we do, or we made lasagna, or we'll make other things. And I think I would generally do that rather than um, pay full price for it. I don't think Andrew says I might have overcooked it. I don't think it was I don't like the consistency of it. Of course, it's not like a turkey, right? Um, but I it was more to me, it was more the taste. It's that meat taste that they kind of give things by smoking them. Um, and it was very smoky tasting. I thought though, with the stuffing and with the gravy and with the mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes, um, I thought it was fine. Um, so I by itself, I don't know if I would have, like, I'm not going to just cut off a slice and like eat it. Like, but I think it worked with the rest of the meal. But yeah, it kind of reminded me of the fake hot dogs that they make. It's kind of like just like a giant fake hot dog is kind of what it was because it tasted smoked. And that's what they do to the fake hot dogs is they just flavor them by smoking them. Um, and so that's yeah. Um, let's see. Susan says I've never liked them, but I think they have improved over the years. I don't know because this is the first time I've had one. Um, and like I said, I thought it was yeah, I thought it was fine. Um, let's see. Susan says, I don't miss the taste of meat, so I don't bother with fake meat. Yeah, I don't necessarily miss the taste of meat. I miss kind of sometimes the texture and the things that meat went like I like a burger and I like the vegetables on the burger is part of the burger, but there is something other than just the vegetables on the burger. So that's why I think the fake meat kind of fills that kind of space. um I guess mushrooms can kind of fill that space like a portobello burger or something, but it's just not quite the same. It's a texture issue as well, um, for me anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I miss meat. I can't say that too. Sometimes I miss a steak, but it's not always the meat replacement doesn't have to be like meat. And that's why the tofurkey, like I didn't have any issue because it wasn't I don't consider it a replacement for anything. It's just can it kind of fill in a spot, and it did. It was fine. Um, and says we had fun trying it, so it was worth doing. Yeah, I think that's kind of how this was. It was fun, but it was like I don't know that I would have any need to feel like we had to have that at full price. Like generally when we do Thanksgiving meals, there's always an abundance of things that we can eat or make or my family, when we get together, they always make sure that a lot of things are vegetarian. So, and we've had vegetarians in our family. So we have various family recipes that are vegetarians, um, or that are from vegetarians. So we have things we can make. And, um, like there's a meatball that's made out of like walnuts and it's so good. I don't have the recipe for that yet, but I should get it. Uh, but Marion says vegan vegetarian foods have improved over the years. Oh, for sure. It used to be you couldn't get any. Like in small areas like this, they did not have it. Like if you got like something with just cheese, like a cheese enchilada in the frozen section, that was kind of amazing because most of the things are meat. Like if we go into our Dollar General right now, um, you might find I don't even think you can just find a cheese, like a frozen cheese burrito or enchilada. Everything has meat. You will find a plain cheese generic pizza. Um, there is a mac and cheese that's just mac and cheese. There's nothing vegan, but there are very, very few vegetarian options, even in like our Dollar General, which I mean, Dollar General is not the be all end all, of course, it's not a grocery store, but you would think for a convenience store like that, they would have a little bit more, but not around here. They don't. Um, most things have chicken or beef in it as well. So there's that. Susan says, when I lived in Richmond, there was a barbecue place that did barbecue portobello mushrooms. They were pretty good. Yeah, I bet. I love a good portobello mushroom, however you want to do it. But there is a place, like, I feel like a burger is a thing that is hard that's where the fake meat comes in, I think. That's where the fake meat comes in, something like that. And, I don't know. I do miss the taste of fish. Fish is a thing that I have realized, the more and more I'm vegetarian, the more I miss fish. And sometimes there are some decent, not great. I've not found a really great fish substitute, but there are some decent kind of like fried or baked fish things. They end up being more kind of like what you would get like at a Long John Silver's, like that kind of fried fish patty, but fish fillet. But they do the job when I really, really need something like that. Um, but yeah, So that's that we did eat that, so I wanted to report on that. It was okay, it was pretty good. I think Andrew did a good job with it. It was just, um, you know, what it is. It's just what it is. Um, not sure why a hummus needs to get a vegan label. I guess so you're sure. You know, I always appreciate it. So I know, you know, when I was not a vegetarian or a vegan, which I've never been a vegan, but when I was not, I always used to say the same thing. Like, why do they put a vegan label on this? Of course it's vegan. Or why do they put a vegetarian label? Of course it's vegetarian. But the more that you are a vegetarian or a vegan, I think the more you appreciate it just saying that because you're sure. Because I will tell you the number of times I've had to read a label to make sure there was not something in the ingredients, especially um, in a mass-produced food. The number of times I've been tricked, it happens. So, you know, like soy sauce ramen. Well, most soy sauce ramens are not vegetarian. You would think so, you know, you would think, but most of them have a beef powder or a beef extract, or chicken, but I think most of them are beef. Um, there is one brand that is marked and they put it on the label, vegetarian. And I'm like, thank you, because now I know. So I know there are things um, that are pretty obviously they should be, but I think in today's world, it's nice when they put that on the label because at least you know. You don't have to look through the ingredients. Um, and it says when we started dating, William's favorite was extra rare steak and a Pinot Noir. Yes, that would be right. I loved my steak rare. Just make sure that the outside was cooked. Um, and a nice glass of Pinot Noir. I did love a Pinot Noir. Um, and usually something like onion rings with it or something. I like a broccoli side with my steak. Um, or like a dauphinoise potato or some kind of potato too. Um, but yes, I you know, I yeah, I like a I like a pretty rare steak. Um, as long as the outside was cooked, because in a steak, you know, I never ate raw hamburg unless it was what do you call it? I just lost the word for it. Tartare, steak tartare, because even that's cooked in a way, you know, like, but um, the I don't like raw hamburger because it gets mixed up, like when the meat is mixed up, and it can be exposed on all sides to bacteria and the air and all that stuff as it's being ground and mixed and packaged. Whereas a steak, though, generally, as long as you cook the outside of the steak, um, as long as you cook the outside of the steak, it is, you know, you're pretty safe generally, right? It's the stuff that's going to touch anything possibly generally. As long as the steak was kept, you know, at the right temperatures, and, you know, all that stuff. Anyway, some people don't like rare steak. That's why I talk about that a little bit because as long as the outside is cooked well, you're pretty good. At least I've always been pretty good with it. When I was young, though, I used to always have my steaks done well. Um, and that was me as a kid. And then I went through a stage where I kind of went medium. And then for a long time, I cooked my steaks medium and had them cooked medium. And then as I got older, I went medium rare and then kind of sear the outside. Bleu. Um, pretty much bleu. Uh, I liked I liked that the French had a word for it. Rare, you know, isn't always quite the same. But anyway. Anyway, Marion says on soy sauce makes sense. Not sure about hummus. I don't know. There's a lot of different hummuses out there in the world, and I guess if you're just having plain hummus, yes, but we have like barbecue hummus and spicy Asian hummus and all these different kinds of hummuses. Hummuses? Hummus? Plural or not plural? Extra S's or not on hummus? Plural. Um, so I think on those it makes sense. Just let me know. Make sure you don't, there's no other ingredients in there. Because you start mixing other things, maybe it has a milk powder, maybe it has, all that kind of stuff. I appreciate, as a vegetarian, I will say I appreciate anytime you want to slap vegetarian on a label. I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm going to be like, thank you. That's easy. I know I don't have to read through all the ingredients. There are enough things I have to look for sometimes, um, like MSG now for my heart. Not fun. Andrew says, I miss fried chicken. I do miss fried chicken too. Andrew, I think, misses fried chicken more than I miss fried chicken, but I do miss fried chicken. Fried fish, fish in general, rare steaks. Sometimes I miss that stuff. Um, Marion says, not more than medium rare for me. Um, Andrew says, yeah, I like it when they do it on a menu and I can scan the menu quicker. Yeah, especially on a menu. On a restaurant menu, please give me that V for vegetarian or vegan. Um, that way, give me something. Give me a little plant beside it. Give me something that I can look at your menu and not have to read through. Like, I am already that person. When I go to a restaurant, I prefer to have looked up the restaurant first on the web, look through the menu, kind of have in my mind already what I want to order, because I have a really hard time looking at a large menu or any menu when I'm at a place because I'm trying to talk with people and I kind of have to like focus. I don't know. I can't have too much. Like, I always, my brain doesn't process things in a way that allows me easily to focus. So I'm always kind of hearing extraneous stuff around me. So to actually look at a menu in a loud restaurant or a busy restaurant and focus on what actually is on the menu is difficult for me. So I will, um, I like it when you can at least narrow it down for me. And if I can see the menu before I even get there, perfect. Marianne says, I'll concede the point. You do you, Marianne. That's all right. If you think it's unnecessary, that's fine. For me, I'm just saying, for me, I will let anybody put it on there, make it easier for me. Um, Andrew says, oh, I like when they do it on a menu, you can scan the menu quicker. Anne says, I 100% pick out I 100% pick out any restaurant meals in advance. It's a minefield, right? And just to focus, like, don't try and talk to me at the restaurant while I'm trying to look at the menu, while I'm trying to exclude all the noises around me. It's like I can't do it. It takes me forever. I just kind of have to scan the menu and kind of look for like my kind of go-tos, and if it has one on there, then that's probably what I'm going to order. Um, if you've eaten out with me, we don't eat out a lot with people, but if you do, you will kind of notice a lot of times I eat kind of a lot of the same things. Um, like I'm gonna have the fettuccine alfredo today because it's a thing that I know, and I didn't have to look through all the menu options. Now, if I've got to prepare in advance, then that's when I'll try different things. There have been times, Andrew says, when I'll read a menu and be excited about something and the ingredients sound good, and then the last item is some kind of meat. Yeah. Yeah. And you can sometimes ask them to take out the meat, but if the meat's like made into the sauce or it's stewed in with things, you can't do that. You can't do that. Variances indicators on restaurant menus are useful. Yes, they are. They are very useful and they help a lot. Um, yeah, let's see. Oh, good. I see Andrew is on Facebook. So Facebook comments are coming through now, which is nice. Good. Comments are coming through. Um, so that's I don't know. I don't know how we even got on. How are we getting into these things? Andrew said he's less like that now because we split things because I like to try as many things as possible. Yeah, it is less like that because we do split things and Andrew's like, but we can make that at home, William. Like let's try something else. Or Andrew will find two different things on the menu and he's like, how do these sound? And I'll be like, okay, let's split those. If somebody else finds it on the menu for me, great. Um, as long as it sounds okay, of course. But yeah, I do if I'm in a new environment, I don't know the menu well, I haven't had a chance to look in advance, I will scan the menu for something that looks like Andrew says, I don't want to order something I can make. Yeah, he's very much like that. I am not. If I can make it, that's okay because it may be done differently or maybe somebody else. Andrew says, unless they can make it better than me, which you never know. Maybe it will be better. But Andrew very rarely takes that risk because he does make good food. So generally, if we're sharing or splitting something, I'm not ordering something, kind of basic like a pasta or anything like that. Um, we get a little bit more exciting if we can. Um, Anne says in packaged food, natural flavors are often not vegetarian. There is no way of knowing. It's true. It's true. Natural flavors can be meat or fish or chicken. Well, beef, chicken, fish. Um, and you don't know. You don't know at all. Um, let's see here. Marianne says, that's how I feel about cilantro. What is it that you feel about cilantro? I hate cilantro. No, thank you. Um, and so since I'm too lazy to make everything, I'll be so happy that everyone will make me a grilled cheese or something simple. Yeah, or that someone will make me. Yeah, I'm kind of that way. When I'm out, the fact that I didn't have to make it or we didn't have to spend time making it is sometimes good. Sometimes you just want something that you like, something that you know is safe. Um, especially, it's sometimes like I know Andrew, he doesn't like to spend money on things that he could make. Um, but sometimes it's nice just to have that comfort of not having to make it and know it's probably going to be good and it's something that you like. It's a safe thing. And you don't have to get experimental and possibly not like the dinner that you've ordered. And I tend to be more on that safety side of things than Andrew is. But we generally have good meals, thankfully. We generally have good meals. And says, Marianne, me too, cilantro ruins anything it is in or on. Yes, cilantro is terrible. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. Cilantro what? And coriander. They call it coriander in some places. Coriander slash cilantro, terrible. I am one of those people that it tastes like soap to. Andrew is not. Andrew likes it. Um, and I have gotten to the point where if it is in some things like a salsa, because it is in so many salsas, it is in so many. Um, I've gotten to the point where I can deal with it. Like it's not preferred, but if it's in certain salsas and things, I'll just be like, okay, this is what it's gonna be. But and I think as time has gone on, it's not as soapy tasting to me, but it still has that soapy quality, and I still would prefer it not to be in things. If you're gonna put it like raw on something, just don't. Just don't. Just leave it off. Just leave it off of there. Our numbers went down. I talk about cilantro and how terrible it is. I guess we had some cilantro lovers out there. Andrew says, I don't mind it. Marion says, yeah, that is a problem with natural flavors, right? Michelle loves cilantro. Ugh, terrible, terrible plant. Um, glad for all of you that can have it and enjoy it. I do wish I knew what cilantro tasted like to people who it doesn't taste like soap to. Like, I would love to know what y'all get out of that. That, like, people are like, I love it. Like, how is it that good? Like, what is in this magical green that is so good? Um, when to me it just tastes like soap. Like, I just I can't fathom how it is that good that people are like, yeah, cilantro. I just don't. I don't get it. Like, I'm not like that with very many things, but people are like, some people with cilantro, and maybe it's just because some people really hate it because we do taste soap. Like, it is not pretend. It is not like, it is like putting a bar of soap in your mouth and just chewing on it. Like, do that. Take some ivory, throw it in your mouth. See how you like it. That's cilantro. Put some ivory soap, shred some of that soap in your salsa and see how you like it. That is what cilantro tastes to us. Like, to me, you could shred a bar of soap in my food and it would taste no different than if you put cilantro in it. So if you really want to know what it tastes like to me, it's an easy way to find out. What it tastes like to some of you out there, I have no idea. Um, Norma says cilantro doesn't taste like soap to me, but it tastes metallic. It's so still not good. No, that's still not good. Not at all. Maria says coriander in the UK. Yep. I grew up in my teens watching Graham Kerr, um, the previous Galloping Gourmet, and he always called it coriander. That's where I learned a lot of that stuff. Basil, coriander. Still pronounce some of my stuff that way. Andrew just says it has a fresh taste. Marion says a teeny amount in salsa is okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is. A little bit in salsa, just so it's not overdone. And I think it's just because maybe the tomatoes, the acid, whatever, neutralizes it a little bit. Um, but I think it's in so many store-bought salsas that I just have gotten used to it in salsa. Um, but if you give me a salsa without it, I'm like, yes, thank you. Thank you. But the with it in, it's all right. Andrew says, maybe because I had my mouth washed out with soap as a kid, so maybe it harkens back to my childhood trauma. Oh no, 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 no. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. No, you'd think it has a fresh taste. It's not the same. Um, no, I mean literally, I have never tasted soap. I've never had the desire to put soap in my mouth. And my parents did not do the wash your mouth out with soap. But I have smelled a bar of soap and I have tasted cilantro. And that taste, you know how you taste through your nose, right? Um, it's the same. It's the same. So if you really want to know why I hate cilantro and why people like me like just hate it with a passion, just shred some soap in your food and take a bite. And there it is. Don't do that, everybody. Please don't. But yeah, that's why. So yeah, that is, I don't know how we got onto cilantro, but there we are. I don't know how we're getting like, we're on some wild topics tonight, aren't we? Andrew and I finished The Witcher. We were watching The Witcher season 4 and we finished that. Um, I have to say, I was hoping for kind of more of a, I don't know. I know there's another season. They've said there's another season, and I know they have to leave room for another season, but I feel like this season was just kind of a little bit of a movement season. I don't know if you know, like it moved the story along, but there was no, like, I didn't feel like there was like there wasn't this satisfaction of something like by the end. I don't want to give anything away because I know there are people out there who watch it. But I just feel like there was not this satisfying, like it just, it moved the story along, and I feel like I don't even feel like the end was a super cliffhanger. I mean, it kind of was, but I kind of feel like I don't know. It's just like it obviously is a cliffhanger because there's no more yet until the next season, but there wasn't that moment that was like that gave you some like immense satisfaction, right? I don't think so. Um, it kind of sets things up for the next season, says Andrew. Yeah, Marion says, spit it out. Spit out the cilantro, spit out the parsley, spit out my words. No, it was very not, yeah, it just set things up for the next, it's probably one of the best ways of saying it because it just was kind of like it was kind of I don't want to say it was a nothing season, but it 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 was enjoyable to watch, but I feel like there was no like I want to feel something more. Um so hopefully the next season is really 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 good. Really good. And then we watched the movie um about the rats and that was pretty good. That was pretty good. And gave a little bit more insight into things. Andrew said that was originally supposed to be a spin-off, um, and then they turned it into a movie. And so I kind of would have liked it to be a spin-off because that could have kept things going in between seasons, I think. But anyway, I don't know. Andrew says, I think they had the big climax too early. Marion says, not even a cliffhanger. I mean, there was kind of, and then there were the rats thing that kind of helped you with that a little bit. Um, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So I just I enjoyed watching it, but I wanted a moment of like, yeah, like, and there was not that. I didn't feel like there was that. Um, Vicky says, I love cilantro in some dishes. It's very fresh tasting and herbaceous. I'll believe you. I'll believe you. Cilantro or soap. um, Susie says that's never good. I don't know. So it was okay. We finished the movie in two parts. Um, took 2 days to finish that because we fell asleep, started falling asleep during it. But that movie was pretty good and kind of I don't know. But I'm excited. I'm hopeful for the next season. They're really setting up the next season for a lot of like, yeah, yeah, action. I hope. That's what I hope. Um, Marion says, I read some of the Witcher books, but haven't finished the series. Yeah, so I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to give anything away. But yeah. Um, I don't know what the next thing we're going to start on is going to be. I'm kind of interested in seeing Stranger Things. We've been kind of putting that off, but we were just talking about that a little bit, how we both don't really remember what is. I feel like it's been like 18 years since the last Stranger Things season, and I don't even know if that was it last year or did they skip a year in between? I can't remember, but I feel like it's been so long since the last Stranger Things, and I have um, heard that people have really liked this Stranger Things season, especially the development of some of the characters. So I'm interested to see what it's like, but I really don't remember much. So I hope they have a really good recap. I'm always looking for the good recap from season to season because I completely forget what happens all the time. Andrew says probably Stranger Things, but finish Nautilus before the AMC runs out. Oh yeah, we're watching the Nautilus with Nemo. I forgot about that, so we do have to finish that. We canceled AMC. They got us for 1 month. We did a free trial, and then they got us for 1 month. Um, these things always tell you they're going to warn you before they end the free trial. Somehow I feel like I never get the warnings, but yeah, we do have to do that. It may have run out already. It is December. I don't know when it re-ups when we signed up for it, but we do have to kind of finish that too. So we'll probably work on the Nautilus. Yeah, so that's what we're eating. That's what we're watching. That's the work that's going on. We're getting ready for the show. Um, but yeah, that's how are all you out there? I've been talking a lot. Some of y'all have been talking with me. Um, but yeah, what else is everybody doing? Anybody doing any shows? Ask that question. Anybody doing any shows this winter or holiday season? We have this one on Friday and Saturday, then we have another one coming up next weekend as well in Johnstown. I found the earlier seasons different than the books as well, says Marianne. Oh, for The Witcher. I've never read the books, so I'm not sure. Andrew says, I like the new Florence and the Machine album. I haven't listened to it enough to know if I like it or not. I know Andrew's been listening to it a lot. There's all kinds of fairy good. Oh, fairy goodness. Oh, yeah, and the new album. Yeah, I've said that. Andrew says, probably because you have 10 million emails. What's that about? I do have. Yeah, I don't always check through all my emails. I used to be one of those email zero people that my emails had to say zero, but I have like 9 email accounts and I just got tired of it every day, every day, every day, clearing out emails just to clear them out, just because. Um, and so I don't anymore. I try and check what's important as much as I can, and I don't worry about if I mark all of them as read now or delete them. Who has time? I don't have time for that. Oh, the notice for things expiring soon. Those notices, yeah. But no, they're supposed to notice you. They're supposed to some of them say they're going to send you a text or send you a notification through the app, and they don't do it because I do check my notifications generally. The Everyone Scream one isn't my favorite, says Andrew. Yeah, that one, that was the one that came out first, right? Um, and yeah, that was not, it's okay, right? But not my favorite. So yeah, I think that's it. Today we're going to show you, not that that's it. There's a lot, I could go on forever, but I probably should start the show. We're about an hour into it here. So thank you for hanging out. It's been fun chit-chatting. I always like when we get into odd topics, not that food and that kind of stuff is too odd for us, but I like when we get off on little tangents. It helps the time go by, helps us kind of get to know each other a little better. It helps me have things to talk about. Um, Andrew says parts of it were good, but the screaming part is not my favorite. Yeah, I don't need to hear people scream. Although sometimes the feeling of screaming is nice, right? Sometimes you feel like you need to scream. Get in the car and scream a little bit. Happens to everyone. At least I think so. But yeah, I like when we get off on topics. It's fun. But today I picked out some things that are kind of semi, like most of them are holiday themed. Some of them are maybe not quite as holiday themed, but still. Nah, that's how you wreck your throat, says Andrew. Yeah, it does hurt your throat generally, right? Screaming definitely does. But Marion says, I listened to Gaudette last night. Turns out it isn't medieval, but early modern period, written in the 1680s. See, that did some research on it. I did not listen to it. I need to, but I did not. I should have. Haven't yet. Let me see something here. What are we doing? My thing froze up here. Hold on, we might get sound. No, didn't get sound. Good. But yeah, my okay. That one stops. Okay. Anyway, trying to figure out, make sure I have my videos going over here. Got the email up. And let's see here. Got that going. Got that going. Email is working. That's good. Andrew says, I once went to a Primal Scream party and that was a lot of regret. um, yeah, I don't know if I don't know. I think it feels good sometimes, but that's the thing. I was also talking with somebody else. We were talking about music interests the other night. Um, when I was at that show at Bottle Works, and our friend Carol was there, and she introduced me to a new band. Um, and of course, now I'm blanking on the name of the band. Anyway, I'm terrible. I am terrible. Um, let me pull up. I have to go through like my music listening history. Um, because they were trying to just describe this band. And I guess they put it in kind of more of a hard rock category. Um, I don't know if I listened to it on my phone, so I don't know if it'll come on through the computer here or not. Sleep something, I think it was called. Sleep Token. That's right. Sleep Token is the name. Um, and it's classified as a hard rock thing, but they said there are there's like classical music and jazz music and kind of classic rock vibes in some of it, and just like all these different genres. And I'm like, as long as it's not like the heavy metal screaming music. And I do know, like, when I say things like that, and this is why I talk to them about it too, because they might like that music. I don't know. We don't know each other that well yet, but I know, and I've read that there is a there is a skill to that screaming, what I consider screaming, yelling, screaming, shouting, whatever you want to call it. Um, it is not something. There is a skill to it so that you don't ruin your vocal cords. And it is not something that everyone knows how to do. And some people don't do it well and they do end up ruining their voice. But some people know the skill behind it and also do that. So, like, even in those things, like, I can appreciate the fact that there is skill behind it. I don't like the tone of it, right? It doesn't work for me. It doesn't make me, I don't want to sit and enjoy that music. I won't generally, but I do appreciate that there is a skill behind it. And I didn't know that when I was younger. But you learn these things, and so it's I don't know. But we were talking about that, and the screaming and like, I get why people want to do it because it does feel good sometimes to let it out. But if you don't do it right, it can wreck your voice and your throat. Susan says, interesting. What did you think of it, Marianne? Susan also asked, Primal Scream Party? Question mark. Andrew said, the Primal Scream Party. Um, oops, sorry. The Primal Scream Party was pitched as a stress release and connecting to the earth. I done got tricked. Um, did you know that Neela was in a metal band? I did know that. I didn't know what kind of metal, like hard. I don't know. I didn't know what kind she was in, but I did hear a little bit about that, and that she was pretty well known and pretty famous for it. Is what it sounded like. Marion says, very simple lyrics in it. Um, let's see. Latin word for rejoice, and so many versions. I did like the Steel Eye version though. So it says it sounds a bit scary. Um, Andrew says, she said that there's a skill to it, but your voice goes. Yeah, that's what, like, some people have been able to do that. And I think like every singer's voice changes as they get older, right? That's why a lot of people in concert, when they tour much later in life, don't always sound the same as they did before. It happens to everybody. But I think there is a way that you can preserve your voice to a degree. Um, or you could just blow it completely out if you don't know what you're doing. Um, Susan says, Marta Anuna does a great version as well. Marianne says, I love metal, but not the screaming ones where you can't tell what the lyrics are. Yeah, I'm not a big metalhead at all. Um, Marianne says, I'll try to find that one, Susan. I don't get into the heavy metal or metal music too much. Um, it's never been something that I gravitate toward. And it has nothing to do with like lyrics or because I don't know most of the lyrics. I just, I think everybody you kind of have to feel the music, and I don't it doesn't vibe with me. It's not one that I'll relax to or that will feel good. Um, Now I did like some of Rammstein when I was in college, and I still, every once in a while will throw one of those on when I'm listening to stuff. And I don't know what that would be considered, but some of that was harder, heavier music. Um, but the German just makes it sound so good. I don't know. Um, anyway, anyway. Um, yeah, let's get this show started. Like I said, it's mostly some wintry slash holiday themed stuff. Hopefully you'll all like it. And let's see, what am I gonna label these? We did what Winter Wonderland kits yesterday. So let's do um HTL. Holiday themed lots. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. So it says, I'm sorry, Marianne, autocorrect is not my friend. Is it anyone, Susan? I know, right? I know. Okay, let's flip this around. Susan says, I heard a Lemmy cover of Bowie's Heroes. I liked that. I don't even know the Heroes. I might know it if I heard it. I was not a big David Bowie listener. Um, and there was no real reason for that. I was just never really introduced to him much. And um, now, as I've gone through things, getting older, and I try different things a little bit, and I have found that I like some of his stuff more, but I haven't really done a deep dive into his stuff. Andrew says, I once went to a class and they were playing music and everyone was like, I listened to everything. And one of the people put some real heavy metal. And when the album was done, I was like, maybe let's pick something more relaxing. Yeah. Yeah. I am I'm kind of like that, right? I don't like the real heavy stuff. It's not my it's not my bag, right? I'm not into that. Okay. My screen went dark, so it must be 9 o'clock. Yep. Let's flip this around. All right. It's like 9 o'clock. That seems to be when I turn the camera most days. So we're right in line with it now. I'm gonna take a drink and then we'll get to the show. Okay. Let's see what we've got tonight. Let's see. These were at 38. Bring them down to 28 for y'all tonight. Bowie was a great artist, says Marianne. We can be heroes just for one day. Oh, that sounds familiar. Yes, it does. Anything that makes me feel tense is not good for fine motor skills, says Andrew. Yeah, I gotta feel kind of the vibe of the music. I gotta feel into it. And that's the thing, like, are you a person who appreciates music's lyrics first or the actual like musical quality of it? I am 100% the musical quality of it first kind of person. And I know there are two different kinds of people. Some people, they're like, I gotta know the lyrics. And if I like the lyrics, I can listen to the music. Whereas I'm the opposite. I could listen to something as long as I like it musically. I don't even have to know what the lyrics are. They could be terrible, honestly. It will take me a while to figure out that they are terrible lyrics. But that is I groove to the music itself first and the lyrics second. But I know there are people who are completely opposite. They're like, if I like the lyrics, I can listen to anything. This is a strand of these beautiful garnets. And there are these kind of garnet drops. I thought they kind of look like, I don't know, like red Christmas lights. Um, thought they're pretty cool. So if you wanted to do something like that, that could be fun. And these are, you get the whole strand, was $38. I've only got one strand left, so dropping it real low for you, $28. One strand available, HTL1. Um, let's see. Andrew says they announced the lineup. Whoops. They announced the lineup of teachers next year at Haystack, and I was brave and asked one of the teachers if they needed an assistant. Oh boy. Nice. Susan says, yes, my radio buddy met him once and he was dating Bowie's assistant. Nice. He kept changing up his styles over time. This is Marianne. Andrew says, I think Tori Amos writes music and then puts lyrics in to fit because some of it is like free association station. Yeah. I think I would be like that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't write music. I don't play music. But I think I don't know. I also like to write like I used to like to write poetry and stuff. I used to do a lot more of that in journal and um but I always think of like I would make the music first, I think, and then try to make the lyrics fit. I think that would be more me too. Um, Student says yes, he adapted different personas. Andrew's like what is an alligator pear gel? Guacamole? Marion says not sure really heavy metal would be good to listen to while doing close work. Not so much just the music, but the sound. Let's see, where do I have next? And I have some red here, and so we're going to do some green here. I have a strand of these beautiful peridot. Let's see here. Let's bring these down to 28. Bring them down to 22. Marion says, not really sure how to explain it. I don't know. Whoops, that's 2. HTL 2, everybody. Not 1. I just did 1. All right. So these are these beautiful peridot. Got a strand of these left. They're like a heishi, or sometimes they're called tires. One vendor calls them peridot tires when they're cut like this. Really nice quality peridot and nice long strands. Got one of them available. $22 for the strand. HTL2. And then these were kind of just sparkly and beautiful. And I think there's only one strand of these left. I think Andrew took a few of these for himself. These were 32. I have to leave these at 32. These are really worth that, and that's a really low price for these. But these are these beautiful tourmaline and really pretty faceted rondelles. Gorgeous quality stone. Look at the indicolite there, the beautiful blue. Really excellent. I think this is the last strand of these. I found this hiding somewhere. It wasn't in Andrew's stash though, so I know I didn't take his at least. Let's see here. Andrew says Robert Frost had an interview where he talked about the sense of sound, and it was all about the feeling of the sounds and if that matched the theme of the poem. The sound is more important than the genre, says Marion. Yes, I would agree with that. Kimberly says, whoa, love these, right? These stones are magnificent for $32 only for the strand. Let me get the light on them because I don't know if you're seeing how beautiful those there. Look at that. And really high quality stones. $32 for the strand only. One strand left. Are you sure the tourmaline aren't mine? These were not yours, but they are from the strand, well, the hank that you did take from, I believe. But I have one strand of these. Look how pink that pink is. Beautiful quality. And this kind of petro tourmaline, the ones that are like the brown and green. Like they're both like cognac color and green at the same time, depending on what light they're in. Like look at the bits of green in there. Also beautiful petro tourmaline in there, black tourmaline in there, watermelon tourmaline, the indicolite. Beautiful strand. Only one, only $32. And these are about 3.5 millimeter faceted rondelles. One strand of it. HTL 3. If that doesn't sell tonight, I will be very surprised. Yeah, I'll be very surprised because it's just a very nice strand. All right, here is an assortment. Let's see. Maybe we'll do it. Should I do the whole assortment? Let's see here. Yeah, let's just do it as the assortment. Oh, someone says I caved. So number 3 has just sold. Thank you so much. Andrew says we can add it to my pile. If it doesn't sell, I won't be mad about it. Well, that one's sold. So thank you. Thank you. I was gonna split these up, but let's just do them as a bundle. I'm gonna do this for $18 for the bundle, and you're getting a good bit of stuff. So these are just fun holiday themed, mostly I think pins. So you're gonna get this one, super dang cute. Marion says a few of those are not a good pink. I know, you and your pinks. And then you get this cute pin. And then you get this beautiful pin. It's got the cats sitting together, holding hands and interlocking tails with the fish hanging from the tree. Super cute. You get that. You're going to get this cute little pin. You're going to get this cute little pin. Cat with the little bulbs all around it. Super cute. Gertie and Ida Bell looking at the sardine tree, right? Looks like it. And then what else? What is this in here? I guess not pins. You're going to get these kind of, I don't know, snowflake-ish I don't know what those are, but they're cool, and you could put beads in there inside or crystals and make these little snowflake-like things. So you get all of that, $18 HTL4. Those would be cute little gifts. Or if you do, ugly Christmas sweaters, or you could do a sweater with a bunch of pins on it. That'd be super cute. Interesting bead frames, says Kimberly, right? They are. Just, I don't know, kind of snowflakey. So you get those, HTL4. Let me see what else here. May as well do this one while we're at it. Is the one gold? This one? I don't know. It has JJ. I don't know what JJ is. I don't know how to tell if it's gold. Female symbols with spiky hair, right? They are that too. They are that too. Marianne says. Andrew says, I think Joe McKay may have designed the frames. Maybe Joe McKay. Maybe. All right. So this one, HTL5, is going to be, you get this little pin, this angel on my shoulder, guardian angel to watch over me. So you get that little pin. Come on, out of the bag. Oh, that's why. You get this little mouse and little corn pin. You get this pair of ceramic clip-on earrings with the holly bells. It's done in ceramic. So you can get those. And what else do I have in this bag? You can get these little lanterns. The mouse is cute, says Marianne, isn't it? These little lanterns. You get those, 2 of those. And you get this little angel in. And then you get this little fun pin. Or maybe earring. One earring? One of those. However you want to use it. Tie tack? I don't know. There it is. You get that. We've got that in there. And that's HTL5. So HTL4, HTL5, nice assortment of little pins. Marianne says, and the penguin, right? I think the penguin's super cute. Super cute. There you go. They're cute, right? All right. I'm going to put one away. HTL1, still available. The garnets. And I'm going to put HTL2 away. Those are the peridot. 3 is already sold. And let's move these over. Okay. HTL6. Let's see what else I've got in my bag. All right. These are, I'm giving you a discount on these, and I really shouldn't, because these were already old prices on these. But these are 24 karat gold plated. I figured if anyone wants to do like reindeer horns, bring these out to show you. 24 karat gold plated. And I don't know if they're plated silver or plated bronze. They're 24 karat gold plated, and they're these horns. They were $18, which is a really good price. That's the old price on them. Now I'm bringing them down to $16 for y'all each. So $16 each. These pendants, you can make them into earrings. 2 of them available, HTL6. To give you an idea on size on these, they are approximately, I can get them at the widest point, about 13 and a half, and at the longest, 25 and a half. Andrew says, I have a secret soft spot for kitschy things, especially vintage jewelry. Yes. Oh, we just sold 4. So thank you so much. HTL4 is sold. All those pins have found a home. They're super cute. I would wear each one. I almost kept this one out of that lot just for myself because I would totally wear this on one of my like holiday velvet blazers for sure. That one almost stayed with me. I love these. I think they're so cute. I would totally have worn them this season, I think, if somebody hadn't grabbed them. Those are more my thing. These ones are cute, but these are not as much my thing as those ones were. Gold-plated bronze. It's to make the gold richer in color, Anders says. So there you go. Gold-plated bronze. Really good prices. HTL6. 2 of them available, $16 each. And going with the theme of taking some money off, $16 was the lowest price we've ever done on these before. Again, old prices. These are silver plated, larger antlers, and they are $14 each. There are these 2 of them available. HTL7. Again, I figured if people are doing like reindeer theme things or you want to make earrings out of those, I think that'd be cute for the holidays. Marion says, I have a stainless cat pin with mice in its tummy. That's cute. Andrew says, I was going to have some of my my stuff gold plated in high carat gold, but then the price went up, so never mind, right? Yeah, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. And let's see here. HTL8. Let's see what comes out of the bag next. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. These were 12. I'm going to bring them down to 10 each. HTL8. are these beautiful blue vintage check glass beads. With that beautiful metallic AB. Nice for a nice sparkly blue. If you want to add some gold or some color to your blue and white, or whatever colors you're using together. But these are approximately 7.5 millimeters. I feel like I haven't seen Sandra in a while. Has anyone heard from Sandra? I think she sent out an email recently, but I haven't seen her on the lives. Anybody know if she's doing okay? She just popped into my mind here. And I realized we haven't seen her, I think, in a while. HTL9. Andrew said those are fun, aren't they? Thought so. Andrew says we haven't been on much. Yeah, it's true. She posts on Facebook, so I know she's busy making jewelry. Yeah, I think she's been busy. I think she's had some commissions and stuff, so that's great. Next up are these. Ooh, large glass faceted rounds. Look how beautiful those are. Let's see. We had those at 14 a strand. I'm going to bring them down to 10 for you all. $10 a strand. 3 strands of these available. These are nice, big, about 16 and a half. Well, let's say 17. They're closer to 17 millimeters. Kimberly says, oh, those are large and in charge chunky monkeys for sure, right? Look at how they sparkle. Talk about some winter wonderland goodness. I mean, imagine those with like these. Look at those together. Beautiful. I could see that being made into a really chunky bracelet. Or even probably one of these as an earring. Most people would be okay. A lot of people would be okay with. Can we say tree icicle? Right? Look at how beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. We've sold one of the 8s. Thank you so much. We still have 4 of those available. Those are a vintage check glass or ornament in general, right? Those would also be great at the end of sun catchers. Looking for some rainbows in your, as Andrew just said, would be great for sun catchers for holiday gifts, right? Looking for some beautiful rainbows in the dead of winter. Make your friends and family some sun catchers with these. That would be super beautiful in the end of a sun catcher. That would sparkle rainbows everywhere. And those things, I think those kind of things are always well appreciated in the middle of sometimes a gloomy winter season. All right, let me put away these other pins. So far, not available, or so far not taken, still available. Kimberly says, in rearview mirror hangers. Yeah, that's illegal here in Pennsylvania. It doesn't stop people from doing it, but I've always had the fear of doing it because technically I seem to get pulled over for the weirdest things. So technically, we're not supposed to hang things from our rearview mirrors here. Andrew says, I saw some cute ideas on napkin rings using big beads. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so HTL5 technically still available if anybody wants that. I'm going to just move these down a little bit, make a little bit more room because I'm surprised these are still available. That price reduction, really good deals on those. People don't seem to be into the reindeer as much or the antler things. I don't know. Thought they'd be a bigger thing for the holidays. HTL10. HTL10. These are a red horn beads. They are $2 for the pair. We have 2 pair available. And these are super light and a beautiful deep red color. So if you are making earrings for the holidays, they would be super easy to incorporate into an earring because they are super light. So nice red color horn, HTL10, $2 a pair. Marian says, did you know that only female reindeer have antlers at Christmas time? I did not. I did not know that. This is just a lovely assortment. These are one of these things on the sterling silver chain and lobster claw. You can see the 925 right there. This is just a nice grouping of various natural stones, an assortment of beautiful gemstones. And I thought it was fun because it reminded me of Christmas lights. And you can get all these just various natural stones. Was 34 a strand, bringing it down to $30 for y'all, which is really a steal. Normally we sell these for like upwards of $60 for these things that are already stranded on the sterling. There's moonstone, there's amethyst, all different. You can see garnets, beautiful quartz, apatites, aquamarine, amazonite, Peruvian opal. Beautiful strand. That's a 16-inch strand before the, not including the chain. And one of those available. HTL11, $30 only for this holiday season, holiday deals. All right. And then we have this vintage check glass. I only have one of these available. HTL12. Let me take them out of here. Only $1. 246 vintage check glass drops. They are drilled side to side. Beautiful red color. $1 for the grouping of 6 vintage check glass drops. HTL 12. Oh, 1 second. I forgot something over here. I'll be right back. right. And then we have HTL 13. These were 12. These are mixes by Andrew. And they're kind of a berry color, but they have a lot of the red garnet in them. They're garnet kind of color. And I thought people could use those. Some of the gold colors and kind of garnety colors. These are really full, so I'm not going to dump them out, but I'll show you. There's what opening that up looks like. And these are beautiful luxury bead blends by Andrew. Those bags are stuffed full. So yes, they are. Like I don't know if I'm going to get this one back closed. They are full. I'm trying to close this one again. You can see the little bag bulging out. That's only $10. HTL 13, really great price. I have multiples of those available. I think I have at least 8 of those. Very nice bead blends and very good price on those. A little bit of a deal for you. So I thought those were a good holiday kind of color. And let me start putting some of these away. I'm going to put these. I found this bag first. Andrew says, you can tell that I filled it. Yes, Andrew really likes to fill them for y'all. He loves to stuff. I think I get them full. He really gets them full. This is the gold plated. Put those away. And let's see here. What did I do with the bag for these? HTL 8. Anybody wants some more of these? We've sold 1 or 2 of those so far. Still got some available. You can't even get that back in the bag. So we'll just leave that bag a little bit open. We just sold 1 of those. Thank you so much. Kira says he pushes the bag limits for sure. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. All right, I'm going to put those away. These beautifully big, sparkly gorgeousness. So far, no one's grabbed any of those. So that's a good deal. Those are vintage too. Those are in a huge bag. It doesn't need to be in that big of a bag, but it is. All right. And let's move this over. These are the $2 a pair for the horn. And then we have this little fun thing, $1 for those. Just 1 of those left. We have those in all different colors, white, blue, red, black. Just got 1 of the reds left. Just got 1 of these left. This one is not pushed so much to the limits. So we'll make the price, we'll make it down to 8, even though this is well worth it. There's a lot of seed beads in here. And you've got the white, you've got the black, you've got the AB finish, you've got some silver in there. 1 bag of those available. Really good price. If you put that into seed bead tubes, that'd be a number of tubes of those for $8. So 1 of those, HTL 14. see how many of these I got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. HTL 15. These are some cute little kits that we had made. We still have a few available. So these are little tree earring kits. You get the ear wires. You get 3 head pins because it was for earrings and a pendant. And you can put them together. Trying to remember if I remember how we put them together. I'm not sure if I remember how they went together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't remember how this went. You can play around with them, but you can make this kind of little tree design. I don't think that's quite right. Whoa. You can make like a little cute little tree earring. And there's enough to do a pair of earrings and a pendant. So you get the 2 earrings and the pendant, $8 for the kit, 5 kits available. HTL 15. Two, three. And then HTL 16. You have 3 of these little kits. And you can get these beautiful glass. These, I believe, are ceramic little snowflakes. You get the mushrooms. You know, mushrooms is a thing, right? For Christmas, some places. So you get the mushrooms, and then you get these beautiful findings. And so you get 2 pairs, well, 2 sets, a pair of each thing. What I'm trying to say, a pair of each thing, $8, and that's HTL 16, and there are 3 of those available. Kimberly says, love it. Thanks. And I found one of these. Somebody showed their holiday tree, and it had one of Andrew's podlings hanging from it, which was super dang cute. So we have one of Andrew's podlings here. There's still one of these left. Was $28, bringing it down to $24 for you all. And it's this cute little pod person, podling, he called them. All hand sculpted, completely hand sculpted in polymer clay. The hole runs this way. And I can't remember, I think it was Cheryl. Was it Cheryl that had the podling on her tree? We had a few people recently sharing pictures of their trees with the ornaments. And I think it was Cheryl that had the podling on the tree. It was super dang cute. So I saw that today. I was like, ooh, I gotta show that again. Gotta show that again. All right, I'm going to put 10 away. And I'll put 11 away. It's that beautiful necklace. That would be a great gift just as it is, too, by the way. Only $30 for a multi-gemstone necklace on sterling silver. Sterling silver chain and lobster claw. Good gift. Doing gifts under $30 for people. That's exactly $30. All right. Kimberly says, thank you for the idea. I'm going to put my good luck friend on my tree. Yeah, put him on the tree. Put them on that tree. All right, I'm going to put these away. These are these vintage check drops in red, HTL 12. And HTL 13 is this large stuffed bag. And they are all, I'm just going to show you, like, they are all super bulging bags. So if you order one of these, you are going to get a good selection of beads. HTL 13. We've had a few of those go out. Thank you so much. I'll move this up. All right. HTL 18. What do I have here? Let's do these. I gotta take these off the, take one of these off the strand. Scissors. Sorry, everybody, this takes a little bit. These are the ones that are not tied when they come off the strands. I just want to show you one strand so you see what one strand is like. So they need to be unhooked and retied together. Okay. And let's do these. Oops. Let's do a cheap price for you. They should be 8. Bring them down to 6. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 8 of these available. Vintage check glass. HTL 18. Super beautiful. Light blue with an AB finish. Twisted coin. Aren't those pretty? Great kind of winter blue color that, you know how the snow sparkles when the sun hits it, when it has that kind of icy coating on it? That's what that reminds me of with the AB finish on there. And sometimes that snow glows kind of almost blue from the sky reflection. That's kind of what that reminds me of. Beautiful winter. Got 8 strands of those available, $6 a strand, HTL 18. Let's see here. We have these at $5 each, 2 of them available. HTL 19. This is another little earring kit we made up. And This one I pre-put together. This makes a little angel. So you can get enough for 2 earrings. And you get the clear quartz at the bottom. This is a beautiful bead, by the way. It's a quartz, it's faceted, it's 3-sided, really pretty. And then you get the little wings and the shell, mother of pearl on top. And you can get the air wires too. HTL 19, only $5 each. 2 of those kits available. Make yourself some little angel earrings. These are old glass. I can't remember if Andrew's still watching it. These are African. These are old glass. They are pretty large. These are about 25 millimeters at the largest. Thickness wise, they're about 11 and a half. And they're $4 a bead. There are 5 of them available. Just love them because they're kind of almost like, I don't know, they're kind of a snowflake shape. I'm going to say they're kind of a snowflake shape, but also in that beautiful blue color. So it's HTL 20. All right. Oops. And HTL 21. And I do a lot of blue because I know if you do anything with Hanukkah, I know oftentimes blue and white are the colors. So we like to show blue on this show as well as the typical Christmas red and green. Right. HTL 21. $2 a pair. These are some more of the red horn, but this time in this cone shape. Red horn, $2 a pair, 3 pairs available. And these are about 9.5 by 20 millimeters. HTL 21. All right, let me put some of these away. If I can find my bags. I'll put this bead mix away. It's HTL 14. I'm going to put a little, where did I do the bag? Oh, there's one. And put the little earring and pendant kit away, HTL 15. And put the HTL 16 away. We did sell one of the 16 so far. Thank you so much. We still have 2 of those available with the mushrooms. The mushrooms alone are worth that kit. Those are some cool vintage glass mushrooms. We used to not be able to keep mushrooms in stock. And then I think we did a lot of mushrooms. We found a lot of vintage mushrooms at one point. Um, and so I think we filled y'all up with the mushrooms, but um, yeah. Anyway, oops. Put the podling away. One of those still available. $24 only. All handmade by Andrew. Move these up. How's everyone doing out there? Everybody still out there? Say hi if you're out there. I'm not getting a lot of comments. Not getting a lot of comments out there anymore. Everybody still okay? I feel like I'm talking to myself. Let's take a moment. I'm going to take a drink. Everybody say hi, say something. If you're still tuning in. Let's see here. A few of these. I'll be putting these in the online store. I started putting some of Andrew's snowflake earrings in the online store. We've sold a few of those there. These are the pendants that he created with those. And these have the beautiful silver snowflake or star patterns in them, along with that kind of blizzard kind of scene. And these are $24. These are enamel pendants by Andrew, 24.5 millimeters approximately by 47.5. Vicky says, Tuesday nights I take care of my bedbound mother. I have to watch the live in spurts. That's nice, Vicky. You get to spend time with her. Thank you for watching. Norma's still here. I had baked potato for dinner, and now I have the carb sleepies going on. Oh no. I know that feeling though, Norma. I 100% know the carb sleepies. We definitely suffer from that, which is why generally I don't eat much before the live. I did today, and I'm a little bit sleepy. So if I'm a little bit low energy, I apologize because I loaded up on the food before the live today. But normally we wait to eat until after, and then I pass out on the couch as I'm watching a little bit of TV. Here's another one of these from Andrew. I love this one. You can really see that kind of starburst in silver on that. I love that kind of light blue background. Very winter window look. Vicky says, love baked potatoes. It will be my downfall. I love potato. I love a potato done in any way. We've talked about this before. Um, I love potatoes. They can be mashed, they can be baked, they can be cheesy, they can be hash browns, tater tots, air fried. It doesn't matter. I love potatoes. But a baked potato with some sour cream. Sorry, I ran out of papers. I'm cutting more papers now. With some sour cream and butter. Ooh, that's a good salsa. Usually I do sour cream, butter, and salsa on my baked potatoes with cheese. Of course, cheese. So it's like a whole party in that baked potato. How do y'all make your baked potatoes? What do you normally make them with? Yeah, mine I do sour cream, butter, salsa, and cheese. Sometimes I don't have sour cream around. I have to really plan for that because we don't usually keep like sour cream in the house very much. So um, I have to make the plan for the baked potato if I'm doing that. Otherwise, it's just cheese, butter, and salsa, which we usually have some of something around. Food of the gods, I agree, William, right? So good. There was this guy who, I mean, he was the head of the potato whatever. I think to what do they call it when you go to the government to try to plead for your thing? He did potatoes, and he wanted to prove that you could live on potatoes, that they were nutritious enough that you could. And I think he lived for a month or two not eating anything but a potato. And apparently, his health stats did not suffer too much in doing that. Um, so he kind of did prove that they were pretty healthy. But they also said, do not eat just potatoes. Okay, I have a few more of these pendants by Andrew, but I don't know if y'all want to see them or not. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of these styles. If you're interested in seeing any of those before you decide, I can show more. Otherwise, for now, I'm just going to move on because I am going to put those in the online store. So you'll be able to see them there as well. But they might go up a little bit in price when I put them there. Now, we have, I think, two of these kits. I think, yeah, these were $24. I'll bring them down to 22, but I can't go lower than that because these are really nice kits. These are packed full. See, used to be $24. These are big kits. So there were these vintage check glass beads in here. You can get this whole strand. You get this whole strand of these triangle drops, vintage check glass. You get these loose beads, large beads. This is, I believe, an AG Fine Pewter toggle, the rope toggle. So you get that. You get, I think these are S-word. These are these S-word crystal spacers. You get 4 of those. And then I love these. These are they look velvety. You get them in 2 different sizes. And they're these like kind of velvety looking crystals. I don't know what they do, what kind of core they have, but they have that kind of luxurious velvety look to them. And you get a bunch of those. I'm not even going to count them out. And then you get these. And then you get these silver lined rounds. And then, and then you get these, which are not the silver lined, but a clear glass round. So you get all of that, was 24, now $22, HTL 24. That is a deal. So lots of great colors for Christmas. If you're doing Christmas things, lots of things to play around with, mix and match there. $22, only 2 of those available. Beautiful, large kit. Inspiration kit. We'll say. So I know Kimberly's here, Vicky's here, and Norma's here. Anybody else out there? Anybody else still out there? Anybody else still watching? I know my numbers have gone down a little bit. Am I that boring tonight? What's going on out there? Probably everyone tired from shoveling snow today. That's what I'll say. I make myself feel better. Everyone's tired from shoveling snow. It's not me being too boring. Put these away. These are little angel earring kits. Susan's here, but moving upstairs. Time to move up. Moving on up. Thank y'all for being here, hanging out. Oh no, I'm making you do more than listen, right? Calling out. Is anybody out there? Anybody hanging out with me? It's been very quiet. I think if you've ever done a live, you understand why quiet makes a host, we'll say, nervous. It's like talking to yourself for hours, not knowing if anyone's actually listening or if anybody's out there. At least it tells me there are a few people out there, but it's a little nerve-wracking. It's like doing a speech and giving a speech in public and everybody just staring blankly at you. Like, it's always nice when people like nod their heads in agreement but just people staring. Have you ever had that experience? Just everyone just staring blankly. You don't know what they are thinking or what is happening. That's what it's like when people get very quiet on a live. To me, anyway. HTL 25 is this beautiful crystal strand. Beautiful red faceted rounds. It's a long strand. And it is approximately 4mm beads. And it's only $4. $4 for the strand, one of those available. Let's see here. We've got one of these left. And this one we already had done up, so I know what it's supposed to look like. These are Christmas tree S-word crystal earring sets, earring kit. You can get the ear wires and the S-word crystal, all S-word crystal to make those. And there's only one of those available. It's $14 for the set, little kit. Beautiful trees. Super holiday spirity. HTL 26. One of those available, $14. Okay. These are HTL 27. These are these little ginkgo seed beads. I guess seed beads. And this is opaque light red Rembrandt. Opaque light red Rembrandt ginkgo beads. We have 2 tubes available. They are $3 a tube. And you can see they used to be $4. So they are now $3 for you all. HTL28 is another one of these ginkgo tubes. Last one of these left in the turquoise Picasso. Give you an idea of what that looks like. There's that. So I figured kind of a red and green, a little bit off of your traditional red and greens, but really cute. Trying to get a little bit of everything for everyone here tonight. One of those tubes available. And I thought I dropped one, but maybe not. HTL28. Kimberly says, uh-oh, I missed quite a bit. The hubby pulled me into a chat about cars. We have 3 down this week. Oh boy. I just sold one of 27. Thank you so much. Yeah, our van is still down. We're still waiting. We got good news though. So hopefully we found a fix. My brother found information online and our mechanic, my mom's mechanic, was willing to give it a try. And it seems like it worked, but we are letting them have it for a longer period of time to drive it around and really make sure that it is not just a temporary fix. Hopefully it will be okay. These are copper beads, and you get a strand of these copper beads for $7. Nice, fairly large hole. Copper beads, $7 a strand. HTL 29. We do have multiple strands of those available. I didn't count them out, but we have multiple strands available. And let's go to 30 tonight. Seems like a slower viewed night, so we'll stop on 30 tonight. It's gonna do 40, but we'll stay with 30 tonight. And this is what I gotta pull off and make sure it gets tied up. Well, I don't think I mentioned it earlier today. We realized that someone on Google gave us a 1-star review, but they didn't leave a review. They just put 1 star and it was like a hit and run. So we don't recognize the name. So we're kind of dealing with that. We kind of replied and says, we don't recognize this name, but if there's something we did wrong, please email us and let us know so we can try to fix it. But it kind of looks like it might be a spammy kind of thing. So we also reported the review to see what Google thinks of it, whether they think it's a spam or not. It's always something, right? And not that one star is gonna hurt, like, if we deserve it, we deserve it, but we do not know the person, they didn't say anything to us, there were no complaints. So it's always hard when that happens because anybody can leave you a review, right? As long as they make an account, anybody can leave a review. It doesn't actually mean they were there or that they visited or that they actually know who we are. HTL30, last one, is just this beautiful one strand left of this gorgeous, sparkly, vintage check glass strand in kind of purple grays and the clears. And these beads are about 9.5 millimeters. Kimberly says those are so pretty. They are super pretty. Very beautiful beads. And that's the last lot tonight. So thank you all for hanging out with me. We've sold one of the 29s. Thank you so much. We sold the 25 as well. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Kimberly says, I want both of Andrew's pendants. They're available. I've got more too. If you want to see more variety, HTL22, HTL23. But I do have other ones. So I picked those because I like those ones a lot. Obviously, I get to pick, but I do have more, and I'll be adding those to the online store too. So you can check that out if you want, or you can grab those ones if you want. But thank you all for hanging out. We really do appreciate it. And if you have any questions, as always, please send us an email, info@allegorygallery.com. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a great, great evening, the rest of your evening. And we will see you back here tomorrow. Most likely, we will be coming to you live tomorrow around 3 p.m. Eastern Time because I am back to my pottery class. I'm very excited to go back. And see some of the stuff that I made many, many weeks ago and see how it came out. So hopefully I have stuff that came out nice, but my teacher has said nothing to me about it. So I'm a little bit scared of how it came out because she didn't mention it at all. She normally doesn't though, but so I'll be at Pottery tomorrow night. So we will probably do our live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, as long as I can get things together. Otherwise, Andrew will start it tomorrow night, and we'll work on it as I come home too. So again, we'll see you then. If you don't see us at 3 p.m., you'll probably see us around 7:30. All right. Have a great evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the conversation. I love chatting about all the stuff we get up to. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. All right. Have a great one, everybody. Bye now.